Good morning. It's a nice morning. I don't have the energy that I was blessed with the other morning, but let's see how we settle into today. Today I continue to look at silence and clarity and the choice how one is to choose their words, the origin of the words, the origin of the sound. Hopefully, the origin, if it's really to be useful, is from the song of the universe. And as long as it's the song of the universe, you can't go wrong in the formation and delivery of your words, your sounds. If they're in harmony, if they originated in the song of the universe, you can use them, resting assured that they will carry the import, the resonance, the importance of your words. So I spend a lot of time aiming for clarity and seeing silence simply as an elusive accomplishment in silencing the mind. And I've mentioned again and again my reluctance to discard the only tool that's been faithfully mine through every step of my journey, and that's been my mind, the intellect, where weighing, evaluation, consideration, and waiting for inspiration all have occurred. And we shared the journey to making sure that the words originated from the source that was most helpful. And I mentioned this circle. And now today, I've expanded this circle to include the cosmos coming down through the mind or coming the other way, through the heart. But everything, almost everything in my path, in my inquiry, was looking for that elusive clarity. And then I've come to understand that clarity is best. I'm best served when the clarity comes in small doses, small moments, the time in between, much as bliss. But the whole time that I was considering this, the place in my life for clarity, I was overlooking something. That's not much of a surprise when you focus your attention on something. It generally means that you're not paying enough attention to something else. And that something else for me, as I've discovered in the process of these days, these last few days, has been silence. Silence in and of itself is worthy. Is a worthy destination. It's not something to get into, to get somewhere else. It's a state of wholeness on equal levels with equanimity. And clarity. And to arrive at this milestone makes me chuckle, because it's through the act of sharing, it's through the act of communication, it's through the act of talking with you, talking with myself, that I started noticing the importance of what's left unsaid. And this is what silence is. Silence is the abode, the residence for what is not spoken. And this fits in so completely and so nicely with my understanding that silence as a polarity to communication contains the seed of communication within. And it's nurtured and protected so that it can flower, so that it can bear fruit, so that it can cast shadows of comfort in these days of excessive heat. It's a refuge, a safe harbor, a place to withdraw within. And all this came to my awareness by looking at what remains unsaid. Where's the repository? Where's the storage for those things? For those unspoken words? Is silence itself. And as a consequence of recognition, my slowness to recognize what is always so, silence itself appealed greatly, overshadowing clarity, because silence is available all the time, where clarity is not. I'm equipped in this body to entertain silence, to be in a state of silence at any given moment. And in my book, that's worth celebrating. It's accessible in a way that bliss and clarity are not. All you need to do is sit and listen. Listening works quite well in silence. In fact, it eases the act of listening. So these moments of silence don't have to be, by definition, between moments, between heartbeats, between words. They can be all-encompassing. Putting silence in with equanimity. Equanimity is a constant state that takes awareness, it takes energy, it takes effort to maintain, but it's efforts that are available. And silence has been elevated for me to a realm equal to equanimity. Equanimity guides my life. It keeps me on an even keel. Remember that nothing is static and flat. Life is not calm seas all the time. Storms come. But it's how you weather the storm. How do you maintain your equilibrium that equanimity rewards you with in times of change, in times of rapid change, in times of turmoil? Yes, indeed. This state is constantly tested. So today, I'm talking about silence in a new light. Light was shined on silence. And I came to appreciate moments of silence. This is the beginning of the appreciation. Silence came in moments. Not unlike clarity and bliss. The difference being that I can see as a resident of this vessel that silence, constant silence, can be celebrated, but most importantly, maintained, where the limitations of this physical form, as I experience it, to entertain bliss or clarity at all times, is just beyond my reach. So to find satisfaction, to find something that I can add to what's available to me all times. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And the rewards of silence become brief flashes of bliss, brief flashes of clarity. It's contained within silence. And it deserves the consideration of all of us to retire into silence, to be rejuvenated through science. Science. Silence. Why am I putting those two words together? The science of silence. Maybe. Hey, I like that. But I'm calling today's sharing moments of silence. Because these momentary experiences, perhaps they're leading to my science of silence. Isn't that interesting how this is what's been happening to me recently? There are no slips of the tongue. There are no blocks to the flow of what's meant to be expressed, what I'm meant to share. And it's so fun to witness. It's so fun to be living in the throes of this growth, because we experience grows in cycles. Like life, it speeds up and it slows down. And now I'm in the middle of quick, rapid evolutionary processes. I'm evolving into something new. I'm shedding the old skin so that the new skin can enjoy the light. So the new skin can be shared with those around me. I mentioned earlier, and I want to revisit it, I took a vow of silence many years ago, before I came to Taiwan, probably 25 years ago. And because of circumstances, I was in a situation where I didn't need to talk. I wasn't working. I was in the fern forest, where the volcano is quite active, by the way, today. I'm not even sure the condition of the place that I was in at that time. But all I needed to do is visit the market, which was 20 to 30 minute drive away, get supplies, come back to my cozy little trailer. And that time in silence, building fires, enjoying watching the flames diminish to embers. Reflective, powerful times, but it was motivated by a vow. And vows are something that I surrendered as not being particularly helpful or constructive. Vows were part of my old way of looking at attainment as a struggle, as eliminating, as limiting myself, which turns out to be the exact opposite of what's necessary. Nothing comes from denial. Nothing comes from elimination. It comes from expansion and embracing. And this process of expansion and embracing is what needs to be surrendered to. And what are you surrendering? Control. So here I'm in this environment. I spent almost a year in silence. And what I remember from this experience, number one, is that silence is quite impelling to the point of being addicting. I didn't want to talk anymore. And I remember, what I really remember, the strongest memory that I have is the struggle to begin talking again, when I decided that I fulfilled my vow, even though I fell short of the year that I had aimed for. After 9 months, the experiment was over. But while I saw how easy it was to fall into silence, I really failed up until these last few days to value what silence really is. Silence is not simply the lack of sound. the lack of communication. Silence is a state of mind that offers rewards that are huge and tremendous. Silence is fertile grounds for growth. So this retreat into silence, instead of a vow to silence, it comes from giving in. It comes from surrender. Surrender to the beauty that silence in and of itself offers. And all of this was spurred on as I review my teachings on a daily basis, because I do look at them and listen to them. I see that what I didn't say, now after 103 chapters, which is today is 103, there doesn't seem much room for anything left unsaid. It seems that I've said it all, but yet here I have more words to say more, because this opportunity that I'm experiencing right now, this opportunity to show on a very personal level how evolution, how change, how silence can evoke, how silence can protect, how silence can nurture. So I'm still enjoying it in moments, but I feel the allure. I feel the call. I hear the song of silence. I hear it. It attracts. It impels. The need to spend more and more time within its gifts. And I'm starting to see now that if my Zen center ever is physically manifested, it becomes more than an idea, more than a dream. That my role within will be a caretaker, as my two paintings on the wall constantly remind me, a caretaker. And other than providing a place of refuge, a safe place, little that I have to say will be necessary. My role is best served by silence. And what I'm seeing is that these sharings that I've been doing since early January of this year are times when I have lots to say. And I'm finding that I have less and less to say. I see the end of these sharings, at least in this time. I see an ending coming, but I know there's a new beginning. And what will those beginnings include? I'm really looking forward to finding out. Again, this was all made possible by listening, by noticing what I didn't say. And what I didn't say just might be of more import than what I did say. Are they fermenting to words in the future? Time, as always, will tell. But what message I have today is that this revolutionary, for me, understanding of the beauty and value